All right, let's do this. Happy Tuesday. It took me a second. All right, happy Tuesday, everyone. Let's do this. Just a moment here. All right, hello, everyone. We're about to go live in just a minute. I want to make sure my Facebook Live is fully functional. Hello, everyone. We're about to go live. All right, cool. Make sure my Facebook and making sure the audio works, which is always a good thing. All right, everyone, thank you for being here and joining me today at noon Dallas time on a Tuesday afternoon. It took me a second to figure out what day of the week it was. And I've just had so much inspiration just flooding through me. And what I wanted to talk about today is this notion that everything in your life is there to bring you back home to you. To bring you back home to you. And it's so beautiful. If you think of the journey, and I just want you to take a moment and just think about a time in your life that was really hard. And maybe you lived through something devastating. Maybe you lived through abuse. Maybe you lived through trauma. Maybe you lived through suffering. Maybe you lived through an addiction. Maybe you lived through depression, anxiety, death, grief, sorrow, all these things. And just think of a time in your life where it was extremely hard and you were going through all of that. And what was the emotional state that you were in at that time? During that time of despair or sorrow, what was going on within you at that time? And as you reflect back on that version of you, that is you, how did that very thing that seemed the hardest thing in the world, the most catastrophic thing in the world, how did that shape you into who you are today? And let's just take a moment now to just appreciate your unique journey. Because without all of that, despair, trauma, anxiety, stress, overwhelm, whatever it was that you faced at that time, the truth is you wouldn't be the you that you are today. And you wouldn't be able to be here in the way that you are today. You wouldn't be able to serve people in the way that you do today simply by being you. That experience that you went through was there to bring you back home to you. I'm going to say that one more time. Every experience that you have gone through in your life that felt particularly hard, particularly challenging, was all there to bring you back home to you. And if you allow yourself the blessing and the grace to receive the love, you will start noticing the miracle that your life is today. And it really is. It really, really is. And sometimes that very pain that we judge can be a catalyst for the next embodiment of who you're meant to be. And you know, it's interesting. I used to do a lot of vision boards. And now I have a feelings board. In fact, I think right around the January 1st or first week of the month mark, I actually went live in my Facebook group and I shared my inspiration for creating what I call my feelings board. And what I'm realizing more and more, I'm going to tell you what this premise of the feelings board is. And I just want you to be with me for a moment. When you think about what you really wanted, anything that you really wanted, thinking of the money that you wanted, let's say the job that you really wanted, the relationship that you wanted, the car that you wanted, what I realized, it wasn't about the thing. It wasn't about the person. It wasn't about the thing. It was that feeling. The feeling of that is what we want. We want the feeling of peace, the feeling of joy, the feeling of fulfillment, the feeling of everything that we want. But why wait until some goal in the future to feel amazing, to feel love, to feel peace, to feel fulfillment, joy, when you can have all those things today? And what I support my clients in doing and creating every single day is, what does life look like that is peaceful, loving, fulfilling, joyful today? So while I work and I do the things that I want to do in terms of creating my life so that I can meet the goals that I have, I can create a beautiful, juicy life today. And that means that freedom that you're seeking in the future, you can embody that freedom now. And how freaking liberating would it be to feel free in your everyday life as you go through life and to create that beautiful life of the future, but to create the feeling of that freedom, that joy, that fulfillment, bliss today. And that for me has been magical. For my life to unfold from stress, from trauma, from overwhelm, all the things that I have gone through in my journey, to creating a beautiful life where I get to show up as me every single day. The hardest thing for me that I had to do so far is literally get myself somewhat camera ready. That has been the hardest thing of my day so far, by far. So for me to show up here and talk to you and share my journey, my client's journey with you is the easiest thing in the world for me to do. That's me being me. And that is freedom, my friends. That is freedom. And I'm going to share a little story about myself with you. And this really defined me. So if you think of like all the things that define you, and I don't mean define you as in like I'm labeling myself as a negative thing. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm talking about there's pivotal moments in our life that make us and shape us into who we are and ultimately force us to get help because the way of life that we're living in that moment isn't working for us. And it's so crazy because every one of my clients has come to me and they're like, Karishma, somehow the timing of you coming into our life, my life, has been a miracle. The timing of you coming into my world has been a miracle. And I didn't even realize how much I needed this. And I'm so grateful that I'm here today. And when I think about my own journey, it's those moments of distress, overwhelm, despair, that led me to seek out a different way of living my life, that taught me how to fundamentally love myself. And that prize is everything, is everything. The thing that you're seeking for, my friends, is within you. It's not outside of you. Love is within you, not outside of you. People can only love you to the degree which they love themselves. Most people don't love themselves. We're in a society of doing and avoiding and going about our day. How many people actually spend time to truly connect with themselves and to truly connect with the people they love, really open, really connected? The abundance that you're seeking is within you. If I perceive myself as lacking limitation, what energy and frequency am I going to project out into the world? That which you are is what you create, my friends. And it's about creating an opportunity of having your life back and taking that commitment and consistency to creating a compelling future, but more importantly, creating a compelling present. Like, what if you could really create and embody a beautiful present today while you're creating an amazing life of your dreams? And that's what I'm here to offer you, if you feel called to it. I'm going to drop a link here in just a few minutes, but I wanted to share a story with you. You know, many years ago, and those of you that are close to me or clients, you've already heard the story, but I'm going to share it here because this is really important. And this is one of those fundamental things that shaped me, into who I am today. I have a family member that struggled with severe alcoholism. And those of you that have struggled with addiction or have someone in your life that struggled with addiction or depression, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And years ago, about 10 years ago, I was all wrapped up in this person's addiction. And at the time, my kids were a year old. So I was raising twins. And I just had put so much energy and time in trying to help this person that I loved. And it was the most humbling experience of my life. And I'm going to share some things that I learned in that journey that I still have to practice today. And one of the gifts that I received during that time in my life was entering the rooms of Al-Anon. And, you know, any of you that have struggled with addiction, I highly recommend this 12-step program. I mean, it is amazing. And I've seen so many miracles that have come into my life as a result of it, and other friends' lives as a result of it. And Al-Anon was one of those things that I've been doing or had been doing for over 10 years. So it's like, it's literally a commitment thing. So if you think you can have everything that you want and not be committed to it, that's commitment is not about outside of you. It's about you and how willing you are to show up for yourself every single day. And that commitment, consistency, accountability is the biggest thing that has allowed me to create my life into the miracle that it is, and allows my clients to create the lives and the miracles that they receive today. So back then, it was hard. It was really hard to watch this person that you love literally die or choose death every single day, and to check out every single day, and to be disconnected every single day. And to watch this person that had so much potential drink their life away was one of the hardest experiences I have ever gone through. And if you've been in my shoes, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I got to the point where I couldn't live like that, because every time they were good and sober, I felt okay. Every time they were in the dumps and depressed, or in that state of self-loathing, which is what every alcoholic talks about when they're drinking, they're in a pattern of self-loathing. They can't be with themselves. They can't be with their emotions. They literally drink to avoid. And in that moment, you know, going through that process, and, you know, when they're up, you're up. When they're down, you're down. And that vicious cycle of basing how you feel. And just put in the comments below if you can relate to any of that. This is not about alcoholism, friends, okay? If you live your entire life walking on eggshells because that's what you think you need to do, that if other people are okay, you're okay. If other people are happy, you're happy. It may take place in people-pleasing, in the shape of people-pleasing, or it may take the place of walking on eggshells, which is exactly what I did. So instead of bending over back, actually probably a little bit of both in my case, bending over backwards and kissing butt and walking on eggshells to avoid creating a response that wasn't favorable for me. And the beauty of that journey for me led me to come to a place within me where I realized I couldn't live like that anymore. And I had to surrender the outcome of that person's life to God, because everything that I thought I was doing to help was actually enabling. It wasn't helping at all. And literally, when I surrendered that person to God, and it took a year and change for this person to come back into my life, some beautiful things happened. And I started out this talk talking about that everything in your life is there to bring you back home to you. It taught me a few things. It taught me that I have to love myself first. It taught me that I need to put that focus back on me first. It taught me that it was time to honor my needs first. That if I was hungry, angry, lonely, tired, those were on me. Nobody can fix my internal state. That's my responsibility. I learned to mother my inner child, essentially. And one of my favorite quotes in the 12-step programs is you can't go to a hardware store for bread. And a lot of times we put all of our needs into a person in our life or people in our life, and we say, okay, it's your responsibility to make me happy. If they're in a position or place in their life where they're not happy and they're not giving to themselves, what makes you think that they can give to you? And empowerment, which is why this group is called Confident Empowered Leaders, is about taking all of your control back. So when I shifted that mindset, my old victim mindset of this is happening to me, which I really, when I walked into the rooms of Al-Anon, I was angry, I was resentful, people were smiling, people were laughing. I'm like, what the hell do you have to be, what is so funny? Like, what are you so happy about? And I didn't get it. I didn't get it. And in some meeting, somebody said, I'm so grateful for the alcoholic. And I'm like, how? Like, that is the most ludicrous thing I have ever heard in my life. But now when I go back to how I was before, anxious, overwhelmed, perpetual eggshell walker, perpetually depressed, perpetually anxious to match the vibration and energy of this person, to finding me, to loving me, to finding out what empowerment meant in my life, to find out what it meant to be peaceful in my life, to find out what it meant to be a peaceful parent in my life, to really take all of my control back, my power back, and be like, this is me. This is me. And it's amazing because that every time I have come back to me, and usually it's situations outside of us are there to shape us, to wake us up. And it's sometimes I listen to clients and I listen to people in my life, and I'm like, how many times is it going to take for you to realize that the gift that you have is the present today? We get to show up today as who we want to be. And one of the most beautiful things that I learned in Al-Anon, I'm going to share with you, is I get to put the focus back on me. That anytime I want to hold my finger up and blame the world, and I say, it's your fault, your fault, your fault, it's all about me. My anger is on me. My resentment is on me. My sadness is on me. My judgment is about me. And oh my God, can you imagine living a life that is so empowered, where you realize that any and every form of suffering in your life is all about you? And it's not about being a doormat. I hope you really get that. It's not about being a doormat at all. It's about being unstoppable. It's about being powerful. It's about realizing the only one stopping me from my happiness and my freedom is me. Because everything in your life, my friends, is about you. It's all about you, to make you love you even more, to bring you back home to you even more. During the time between my separation and the divorce, I'm in a committed relationship today. I went on some dating apps. I joined a few dating groups. And, people would even, there's a group that I belong to on Facebook, and I just sort of like enjoy reading the posts sometimes, just to, I don't know, it shows up on my notification. I'll just sort of skim through it and I kind of move on, right? And it's like a social group too. It's not just a dating group anyway. But, there's people on there and they'll complain about, what is it with the men these days? What is it with the women these days? And it goes on and on and on and on and on about what's wrong with them. But if you don't love you, and you don't really feel on a deep level that you're worthy of love and you're worthy of respect, how in the world are you going to attract someone that's able to give you that? And even if you were to bring them into your world, what is the likelihood of you keeping them and not self-sabotaging that love? Because the truth is, if you don't love you, you don't respect you, you can't fully love or respect someone else. And certainly you can't love and respect or receive the love and respect that you want. So just realizing that everything is an opportunity to come back home to you, And if you're feeling stuck, you're feeling in despair, you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, that was me. And a lot of my clients lived in that perpetual state of stress before working together, perpetual state of guilt before working together. And I'm here to tell you that freedom is possible. Freedom is possible today. You get to decide, is that what you really want? And what are you willing to do to commit to receiving that? Because every time I've stepped into my path, my power, committed to getting support, committed to getting help, the result has always been more abundance, more love, more joy, and more freedom than I could ever imagine. And if any of this calls to you, I'm going to drop a link here below and let's connect. I'm going to be sharing a program in the next few days here with you all. But if you feel called to connect about potentially getting support, let's get on a call and just see what it is that you need and if I can help. I hope you all have a beautiful day. I'll talk to you all tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye.